Hi everyone, we're going to start class standing. So bring yourself to stand on your feet. You want a solid footing, something like hip width distance apart is ideal. I tend to go a little wider. So if you spot me sort of with a slightly wider stance, that's how I tend to position myself. If you like a slightly wider footing, then please, by all means, go for it. We're going to start by allowing the hands to just find their way into a relaxed position, and that might mean you need a bit of a wiggle to get there. So feel free to just give yourself a bit of a wiggle, a bit of a stretch. Maybe it's a bit of a shake of the head. And as you gradually kind of work your way into stillness, you want to feel that it is effortless to stand here. So, which sounds like something you take for granted because most standing is reasonably manageable, but I almost want it to feel as though the body is sort of perfectly stacked. So the bones are stacked on the bones and you're not having to put too much effort into standing. Once you've got that, you might tip your chin, tuck your chin slightly so the back of the neck is long, bringing your gaze maybe down to the floor. And we're just going to start by drawing our attention into the body. And you're welcome, if you want to close the eyes here, if that suits you. If you're not comfortable closing the eyes, feel free to just bring your gaze to look down towards the floor. And it's a different thing starting the practice standing, starting the practice seated or lying down. And it might feel different in the body, and it might take a little longer to kind of find that space of quiet that you're used to tapping into here at the beginning of the class. Give yourself all the time you need. There isn't any hurry. And if you notice small movement in the body, let that happen. So often if we close the eyes, we tend to find ourselves rocking slightly, perhaps side to side, perhaps backwards and forwards, perhaps no discernible pattern. And it's fine. If that is happening, let it happen. Draw your attention into the physical body. Come to notice how the body feels. And you might immediately be able to start to pick up on sensations in the body. An interesting one to tap into here is, can you feel the feet against the ground? And then once you've built up this image in your mind of how the body is, see if you can allow your attention to move to the breath. When we're seated or lying down, I often say that the breath is less tangible. It's less hard, less kind of obvious, less solid than the sensations in the body. But I feel like when we're standing, the breath is really easy to get a hold of because it creates this movement in the whole body. It's potentially easier to observe here standing. So see if you can watch the way that your body moves in time with your breath. We're going to take a couple more breaths in stillness here, or relative stillness. And then when you feel ready, it might be on this breath, it might be on the next one or the one after that, you're going to start to incorporate some small movement with your breath. So on your inhale, the hands are going to draw up and in towards the center of the chest. And on your exhale, the hands are going to turn, palms press down as you push the breath away. We'll keep that going at your own pace, in your own time. Eyes can be open or closed. Hands might move a lot, or they might move just a little bit. Imagine the hands, the palms of the hands are sitting on top of that breath. And they're just riding the wave of that breath as it comes in and up, as it moves out and down. See if you can keep the movement matched to your breath exactly. And then when you feel ready, we'll start to add on from here. So we'll start to make this movement a little bit bigger. So perhaps after your next round, your inhale draws up as usual, bringing up from the ground that full breath in. And your exhale pushes out. We've done this before, as if you are kind of pressing out, stretching out a bubble that is all the way around you. You're going to breathe in and the arms will gather up and overhead. And as you breathe out, the hands are coming down, however you like. So maybe it's palms pressing down, maybe it's hands in your namaskar, your prayer position. Whatever works for you. We'll do the same thing again. So we'll draw up on the inhale. There's no hurry, you stick with your own breath, your exhale presses out. Imagine you're expanding the space you've got to practice in, as if you're pushing back imaginary walls. Inhale, draws the arms up, you gather everything up and overhead. And the exhale brings the hands down. We're going one more time, all the way through that. Imagine drawing the energy up from the ground with the inhale breath. Exhale, you press it out. You're expanding the space that you've got to practice in. Inhale, you'll gather up. Exhale, and the hands are traveling down any way you like. Nice. From here, when you're ready, it's an inhale to take the arms up and overhead. And an exhale to just keeping things really, really simple, grabbing the right wrist with the left hand and using the left hand to draw the right wrist up towards the ceiling and then over towards the side. And this doesn't have to be the deepest side bend you can manage, and rather you came into something sustainable. So if you come right the way over to your edge, see if you can instead hang out in something which is sustainable and feels nice. Maybe using that inhale for length. I find here there is something about lifting my left heel that just makes this feel even more interesting. So lifting the heel of the side I'm stretching towards. Last inhale here. Exhale to sink into it. And then as you inhale, you're drawing the arms back up and overhead. And you'll switch it over. It's as simple as the right hand grabbing the left wrist and lengthening up and away. Big stretch up as you reach for the ceiling, and then drawing yourself in to a sustainable side bend. You might think about nudging your left hip over slightly, as if you're kind of trying to bump hips with somebody next to you. Maybe that just sliver of air underneath your right heel adds something that makes this feel all the more interesting to you. Last big inhale here. Exhale to soften in. And then we'll bring ourselves back to the top with an inhale breath. Exhaling, the hands are coming down by your sides, all the way down. Nice. And we're just going to start to work a little bit more through the spine, through the shoulders. So when your own time, when you feel ready, you're going to let the left shoulder drop. Imagine you're holding the world's heaviest dumbbell in your left hand, and you just can't help but let it make its way over towards the floor. And there will be a point of resistance here. There'll be a place where the shoulder sort of stops. The right arm might start to drop forwards. And from there, you might soften the knees as you roll your way through the upper back. So we're doing these first couple super slow, and then you can begin to make it your own. It's the left shoulder that is going to draw you back up to the top, as if you were a kind of puppet that the strings had been cut on, bringing yourself back up to the top. So we'll stick with the same side. It's left shoulder dropping all the way down. Right arm probably will just swing over in front at some point. Keep the arms really heavy. Soft in the knees as you roll, and you're thinking about middle back just underneath the shoulder blades, moving in your thoracic spine. Left shoulder lifts you back to the top. and you'll soften through the arms. Nice. We'll take it the other way. Let the right shoulder drop. World's heaviest dumbbell. You cannot keep it lifted. It is going to drag you all the way down. The left shoulder swings over. The left arm hangs in front, and you'll roll your way through the upper back. This is one of those movements that I always like the idea of using this clip of video and sort of speeding it up and turning myself into a horror film extra. Let the right shoulder drop again. Let the right shoulder drop, left arm swings in front, upper back, middle back is where you're interested in. Trying not to let this become a forward fold as best you can. We're going to do that in a minute. Roll yourself back up through center. Take your time with it. We're going back towards the left. This time we'll make it bigger. So let the left arm hang heavy. Soften the knees. And as the right arm swings forward, the right arm is heavy as well. It's going to draw you right the way through a forward fold type action. You'll roll across the bottom, and it's the left shoulder that draws you back all the way up to the top. Take your time with it. Go as slowly as you like. You know where we're going. So you might as well enjoy it. We're going over towards the right with that bigger movement. The right shoulder drops. The right arm hangs heavy. The left arm swings over in front, and that arm is heavy too. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Roll your way across at the bottom, whatever the bottom looks like for you. And then right shoulder is dragging you back up to stand, bringing you all the way up, gently coming back to the top. Nice. Once you've found yourself back up at the top, there's no hurry, no rush. Take your time to get there. You'll find yourself solid on 2 feet. And we're just going to start to make that movement a little bit more active. So that was quite a passive, sinky, heavy movement. We're going to make it a little bit more active and kind of fired up in the body. So when you're ready, inhale the arms up and overhead. Interlacing the fingers, you're going to push the palms up towards the ceiling. So see if you can include the thumbs roughly in that cross of the fingers as well. And as you inhale here, the little fingers are making their way back. You're going to squeeze the glutes, push the hips forwards, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, you're going to pull the belly in. You might soften the knees. Imagine somebody's punched you in the stomach and you're sort of doing a very slow motion action film recoil. Hands press out in front. I'll show you it from the side. Inhale, you squeeze the glutes, push the hips slightly forwards, lift the gaze. Lifting the gaze will do all of the work in lifting the chest as well. Exhale, slow motion, punch to the belly. Maybe you soften the knees as you round your way in, push the hands out in front. We're sticking with that. A couple more breaths here. Inhale to push straight legs, lift the gaze, lift the chest. Exhale to round, take it at your own pace. So it's like cat-cow, but it's standing, and it's maybe a little bit more interesting, fiery for the shoulders, and maybe for the glutes. We'll go one more like this. And then when you're ready, you're drawing your way back as if you were going to start another round. But this time you can go off in any direction you like. So you might soften through the knees and make this a big circle with the hands. You might stick with where we've been. You might incorporate a bit of side stretching. You might pedal through one leg and then the other. You might really enjoy that rounded shape, and you might want to roll through the upper back here. The hands don't have to stay interlaced if that is causing you any kind of stress. You might reach out through the fingertips instead. You can move the body in any way that feels good, interesting. Stay away, as always, from sharp or hot discomfort. We're going to stick with this. One more breath, maybe doing your favorite thing one more time. Then we'll bring ourselves back. Find yourself standing, no hurry to get there. Exhale, the arms can come down any way you like. Nice. Maybe a bit of a roll through the shoulders, a bit of a wiggle. That might feel good. And then when you're ready, we'll find ourselves somewhere near the top of the space that you are practicing in. You don't have to be at the top of the mat, you just want some space behind you. So find yourself somewhere near the top of the space that you're working in. Footing is steady. You might think about spreading out through the toes, maybe imagining those leggings from the 80s that sometimes you still see children wearing, that have like a stirrup in them. Imagine you're wearing a pair of those and the stirrup is drawing up the inside arch and the outside arch of the foot. Both sides of the feet engage, drawing up. Find yourself steady. When you're ready, slow inhale, draws the arms up and overhead. Take your time with it, enjoy it. See if you can make it a little bit slower than maybe you normally would. And then from there, we're folding in any way you like, but I'm going to suggest you soften the knees, particularly for these first two. Bring yourself right the way down. Bend the knees as much as you need to for the hands to find the floor. So that might be a really deep bend in the knees, and it's fine if that's the case. Feel the hands on the floor. So at the beginning, I talked about drawing that inhale breath, that energy up from the floor. The hands are going to do the same here. As you slide the hands onto the fronts of the legs, feel that power rise up into the feet, fronts of the shins, palms of the hands coming onto the space just above the knees. The elbows are going to snap in, magnetize to the ribs. You're looking straight ahead, it's your halfway lift. You're going to look forwards, inhale here. Exhale, you'll slide your way back down. So exactly the same, slide down the front of the body. Hands come onto the feet, bend the knees as much as you need to for that to happen. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale at the bottom. Next inhale breath draws the hands up the front of the body as you roll your way to stand. So as the hands track up the front of the body, they might move over the knees, the thighs. You feel the body firing up underneath the palms of the hands, coming up the outside edges of the hips. As if you were trying to lift the ribs away from the hips, you lengthen the waist. Eventually the arms draw up and overhead. Nice. Exhale, draw the hands down any way you like. Maybe they come through heart center, maybe they sweep out wide by your sides. We're doing that exact same thing one more time. Inhale, arms come up slowly overhead. Too close to the wall. Exhale, you'll fold however you want, bringing yourself down long over the legs. Soften the knees, soften the knees, soften the knees, because you're bending the knees deeply to get the hands onto the floor. See if you can, almost as if you are plugging in, draw some power up from the floor so that you can slide it onto the fronts of the feet. Feel the feet engage with the mat, the legs, the shins, the knees. The hands are going to stop just above the knees. The elbows snap in, magnetize to the waist. You're looking slightly forward. Inhale. Exhale to fold your way back in. If that halfway lift feels a little bit more powerful than maybe it normally would, good. That's because you're working that really strong alignment. Hands on the feet. Take an inhale. Exhale. And then in your own time, the next breath in draws the hands up the front of the body. And there might be places here where you realise it's quite nice to put a little bit of pressure on. Feel the body firing up under the hands. Sides of the hips, lengthen through the sides of the waist. Draw yourself up, arms coming up overhead. Exhale, hands come down however you like. Nice. This time we're making our way to the floor. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, you'll fold it in. So losing a little bit of that real strict kind of guidance into your halfway lift, but perhaps still keeping contact with the body. You'll inhale to find your version of a halfway lift. Maybe the hands don't need to come so high. Maybe the fingertips could even stay on the feet. You'll inhale, look forwards. You'll exhale and fold. From here, hands find the floor, bend the knees as much as you need to for that to happen, so that you can step your right leg back, your left leg back to join it, and you'll find yourself strong in your plank pose. So we'll hit plank here. You're welcome to drop the knees if you need to turn that into a half plank, but you're keeping the body weight over the wrists. You're going to look forward and tip a little bit of weight off the toes if you're on the toes. Push the floor away. Imagine trying to broaden the space between the shoulder blades. Take an inhale breath here. An exhale breath here. How made you think you were going somewhere? Take an inhale breath here. Exhale breath here. That's right. Last inhale, I promise. Exhale, release the knees gently to the floor, very nice. Send the hips back to the heels, and this doesn't have to be child's pose. If you want child's pose, please do feel free to take it. But if you want something more active here, if you want to think about stretching out through fingers, keeping toes tucked, or maybe the body is a little bit longer, you've got a bit more of a reach and the tailbone is high, anything that feels like a nice release for you, backs of the arms, armpits, upper back, the sides of the waist. And then from there, we'll come up onto the hands a little bit. And if you've got the toes tucked, just untuck them gently so that you can walk both hands over towards your right. Both hands coming over towards your right until they're about 45-degree angle away from the mat. You'll take an inhale here and an exhale to press the hips back. So you're lengthening out the side of the body, lengthening out all the way along the left arm, left armpit, left side of the waist. So your choice about how active the hands are here. They could really be pushing the hips back in space, or they might be kind of passive. The forehead could even come down to the floor. And when you're ready, you're drawing back forwards one more time and walking the hands through center to take yourself over towards your left. So hands come to, I mean, for lots of us, the hands could just keep going around forever. But there'll be a place over towards the left that it just makes sense for the hands to pause, take an inhale there. Exhale to push back, hips pressing over towards your right. You've got a long stretch down the right-hand side of the body. Again, your choice. Maybe you're really active, pressing down with the hands, elbows engaged, or maybe the forehead finds the floor and the arms become gently passive here. Your choice. And then when you're ready, you're going to draw forwards and walk the hands out in front. So the hands are going to come back to stack roughly underneath the shoulders, so that we can make our way from here by stepping the right leg back and the left leg back to plank. Don't worry, we're not here for that full 3 rests that we had before. Instead, we're going to swap between 3 movements. We're going to take an inhale breath here in plank. And we're going to exhale and send the hips high for our downward facing dog. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't feel like the right length for your downward facing dog. Try your best not to adjust it. Here, take an inhale breath in, downward facing dog. Exhale to look forwards, roll off the toes and see if you can hover the knees. Just a couple of inches above the mat, you're working in a box plank position. Inhale here in your box plank. Exhale to straighten the legs, maybe 1 at a time, maybe 2 together, back to your plank. So almost as if you're not quite sure which one of these is the relief. Take an inhale here. Exhale, send the hips high, back to your downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, hover the knees, just an inch off the mat. Body weight is forwards, hands push the floor away. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten the legs into plank. Each change, you're like, yeah, I can handle this. And then the next breath, you're like, not really. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, send the hips high. Drop the knees whenever you need to. We're going for 1, probably 1, maybe 2 more rounds. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, hover the knees, just an inch off the mat. As you get to the shape, you're breathing in. You're using your next exhale to change to the next version of the shape. You're breathing in again. Push the floor away with the inhale breath. Exhale to send the hips high, downward facing dog. Not sure if that was 1 more. I'm going to do 1 more just for luck. Inhale here. Exhale, hover the knees. It's your last one. Inhale here. Strong. Exhale, straighten the legs. Last plank. Inhale here. Exhale, release the knees to the floor for real this time. Send the hips back to the heels. Let that go. Let that go. See if there's a little bit of a fiery sensation in the arms, the shoulders. Maybe you're working a little bit more heat in the body. That is okay. That is good. If you're interested in a bit of a stretch for the shoulders, you might bring the palms of the hands together and lift your little shark fin of your hands up and over the back of your head, and that might feel really nice, or it might feel very intense. You can choose how much you switch that on. The more you bring the thumbs to the back of the neck, the more intense that sensation is going to be. If it's an intensity that you like, you're welcome to walk the elbows away. When you're ready, you're stretching the arms out long. Palms of the hands find the floor, and you're going to anchor down through the hands to draw yourself back up and forwards onto all fours. So the reason that I put you through that torturous shoulder warm-up, which maybe didn't, the shoulder and core, maybe didn't feel like shoulders, but it will, is because of where we're going next. So the step through from downward facing dog is a kind of big challenge. It's a big tricky moment. So what I mean is this. That is tricky. That is a tricky movement to get the body to work out how to do. And so working that push away from the floor, that strong press that we were working in plank, box, plank, down dog, that's really helpful. The next bit that's really helpful is working out the leg swing. So we're going to move into that next. So find yourself on all fours, tuck the toes, and the hips back to the heels. You're inhaling to coil the spring, and you're exhaling to send the hips high, back into your downward dog. One more time here. So adjust this one. This one can be the right distance apart for the feet. The hands, make sure that the hands are anchored into the floor, and I'd love for you to have a bit of a wiggle and just check that it does feel like a good place for you to kind of set yourself as your downward facing dog. You want hands engaged with the floor, index finger and thumb anchoring down. You want the sensation that the chest and the belly are moving back towards the tops of the thighs. Once you've had a bit of a wiggle, we're going to pause here. Take an inhale breath through the nose. Exhale, maybe have a sigh through the mouth. Inhale to look forwards between your hands. And as you exhale, you're gently going to release the knees to the floor. So we're just going to pause on the wrists, give the wrists a bit of a breather. So maybe sitting back on the heels, you might just want to have a roll through the hands, as I want to flow the next bit together without having to come down and have that break. So give your wrists a bit of a break now. If you want to, maybe you're interlacing all 10 fingers and rolling that fist kind of as one, or maybe you're stretching out back to the hands. You're welcome to bring back the hands down onto the floor if that feels good. And then when you're ready, we're going back to that downward facing dog. So hands come to find the floor. No rush, you know where we're going. Take your time to get there, tuck the toes. When you're ready, use the inhale breath to fire up, use the exhale breath to send the hips up and back. And once you've got yourself steady there, anchor down through the feet, through the hands, sorry, the feet on your arms. We're going to try our best to flow these next two sides together, but if you do need a break between the left and the right, you're welcome to it. Don't feel like you have to grit and bear or drop into bad form because you're struggling with the breath. So we're going to bring the feet together. So the feet are side by side. You can keep the knees bent, you can keep the heels away from the floor, and as you inhale, you're going to sweep the right leg up and back. Big sweep up and back, press out through the right heel. Do your best to try and keep hips in one line. It's very tempting to tip over and bring that right hip higher, so you can keep two hips in one line. As you inhale, you're going to fire up that right leg. And as you exhale, you're going to rock off your left toes as you draw your right knee in towards your nose. It's a plank position, knee to nose. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Push out through the heel. Exhale, rock off the toes as you bring right knee to right elbow, a little Spider-Man push-up. Inhale to send the leg back. Exhale, you're drawing right knee across to left elbow. Pull it forward to the left elbow, maybe a little hover there. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Exhale, last one. Draw the right knee in towards the nose. Pull the belly in. See if you can touch knee to nose. And then at the very last moment, you're going to look between your hands and step that right leg forwards. Nice. Yes, exactly that. So step the right leg forwards. Moment of relief. Whew. Thank goodness for this. You're welcome, if you want to just quickly drop your left knee down so you can catch your breath a bit. And if you need to come up on a block or on a prop, you're welcome to. Steady yourself here. And then when you're ready, we're anchoring down through the hands. Some of you will have done this with me before. You're going to tuck the back toes, pop the back knee off the mat. Find a little bit of momentum, a little bit of power, and as best you can, you might want to watch me do it first and then attempt it once you've seen where I'm going. You're going to take a big inhale, push the floor away, and as you exhale, you're going to hop switch the legs. That maybe wasn't my cleanest effort. I'll see how it goes again when we do it again in a minute. Find yourself steady here, hands are firmly planted. Back toes are tucked underneath, back knees popped up off the floor. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, guess what? Your left leg is going up and back. You're starting on the other side. Inhale here. Exhale, draw the knee to the nose, rock off your right toes, draw yourself into a plank. Inhale, send the left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to left elbow as best you can. A little bend in the elbows goes quite a long way here. Inhale, send the left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Draw the belly in. Inhale, send it up and back. Exhale, it's your last one. Knee to nose, knee to nose. Pull the belly in. Hug everything in. Maybe it's going to touch. And then you'll look between the hands and pop that left foot down. Yes, beautiful. Feel free to catch your breath. Put your right knee down if you need to. Maybe come up on a block or hands on the knee if you need a little bit of a breather. We did it on the other side, so we're going to do it on this side as well, even though we're not necessarily going anywhere from this side. But it's a nice thing to, it's a nice party trick to have. Hands come onto the floor. So what we're really looking for is a push away from the floor to clear the belly away from the leg as much as you can, so you've got enough space. Tuck back toes, pop back knee. Big inhale to push. Exhale, hop, switch the legs. Yes, very nice. From there, you're simply going to step the right foot back to join the left. Downward facing dog. Have a wiggle, have a stretch. Drop the knees if you need to. Give yourself that break if you feel like it's useful, if you feel like it's going to allow you to carry on. I know, what a fiery start to the practice. You're thinking, I hope that's not a sign of things to come. Take an inhale, look forwards between your hands. If you're not in down dog, you might come and join us. We're simply going to walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet and bring ourselves into a forward fold. Let the body hang out over the legs. Let the head hang nice and heavy. Maybe it's a bit of a shake of the head. Let the body really drop here, soften the knees if you need to. Allow yourself to be heavy and relaxed, released over the legs. Beautiful. Very nice. Maybe a bit of a shake of the head, a bend in the knees. Catch back up with yourself. And then when you're ready, bend the knees so much that the hands can come to find the floor. Allow the hands to find the floor, to feel that kind of plugging in, that power. And then they're going to slide up the fronts of the feet, up the fronts of the shins. Coming up past the knees, you'll feel the legs start to fire up. The strong quadriceps, the front of the hips, the glutes. Lengthen the sides of the waist. Draw the hands up the rib cage, and eventually the hands are releasing up and overhead. Exhale, you'll draw the hands down any way you like. Hands are coming down any way that makes sense for you. Really nice. Okay, cool. So we're going to keep that flow going. We're going to add in some slightly different stuff, but we're working with similar shapes to kind of stuff that we've been thinking about so far. Find yourself steady. Front of your mat. Heels and toes, hip width distance, maybe a bit wider if that suits you. When you're ready, inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale to draw yourself long over the legs, soften the knees if you need to. Fingertips find the feet, the shins, the knees, the thighs as you draw into your halfway lift. Exhale to fold, long over the legs. Slowing that down a little bit, hands to find the floor here. We're going to step it back, right leg stepping back long. Left leg stepping to join it, but this time you're going to downward dog. Adjust the hands and feet as much as you need to. as much as you need to find yourself steady here. From this position, bringing the feet side by side, you'll take an inhale and sweep the right leg high. You'll exhale and see if you can step the right leg up between the hands, using that knee to nose action. Roll off the left toes, push the floor away, and see if you're able to step it up rather than swing and crash. But if you're swinging and crashing, that is totally okay. Once you found yourself there, you'll release the left knee gently down to the floor. Left knee is coming down to the mat. We'll steady ourselves first. I was going to skip this, and then I just really like it, so we're going to include it even though it wasn't in my plan. When you're ready, it's an inhale. Draw the arms up and overhead. And some of you might have heard me talk about this before. This is the yes. This is the yes part of the breath. Open chest, open body. Woo, big wobble. This is your kind of yes. Thumbs drawing back. As you exhale, you're going to push the hands out in front, pull the belly in, and find no. So exactly as we did when we were standing, we're moving between those cat-cow shapes. Inhale, the arms are drawing up and overhead. Yes, yes, yes. Open through the chest, the shoulders, the collarbones. Exhale, press the hands away. Draw the belly in. Maybe the hips are drawing back in space a touch, and you might find a stretch in the left quad. We'll go one more time. Inhale for yes, yes, yes. Exhale, no, no, no. Tuck the chin. Tuck the chin. You refuse to even engage with whatever's out in front. Inhale, the arms coming back up to neutral. Exhale, the fingertips will come down to the floor on the inside of your right foot. Inside of your right foot. And you might want to take your right foot over slightly to the side. So it might heel toe out towards the edge of your mat. It might heel toe out to a slight angle. Maybe the toes are turned out 45 degrees. You can see my foot there. Once you've got that position, fingertips are going to be on the floor or on a block or on a support if you need one. And we're going to stick with that sensation in the breath. So as you inhale, that is yes. You're drawing the chest forwards, open, lift, brighten up through the collarbone. As you exhale, push the floor or the props away, find no, pull the belly in, tuck the chin. Exactly the same again. Inhale to draw forward. You might find a bit of a snake, a bit of a ripple in the spine. Exhale for no, push the floor away, pull the belly in. So one more, inhale to slide it through, maybe flats of the hands are making contact with the floor now. Exhale to draw back and away, pull the belly in. From here, we'll inhale to come forwards to neutral. You might, if you're interested, turn onto the blade edge, the little toe side of the right foot, and bring the right hand onto the right hand onto the right knee. I'm just going to spin it around for you. Right hand could come onto the right knee, just for a breath here. As you inhale, you might push that knee away, encouraging space in the front of the chest. Exhale, we're going to let that go. Hands come to find the floor. Tuck the back toes. Pop the back knee off the mat. Send the right foot back to join the left. And we'll hit downward facing dog. So back in our downward facing dog, maybe a pedal, a little bit of a shimmy, a wiggle, whatever suits you. From here, inhale to roll it forwards to plank. And a slight difference to your vinyasa, as you exhale, you're going to hover the knees just an inch off the mat. See if you can draw the belly in, hit that box plank. Inhale here. Exhale, send the hips up and back. Nice. From there, inhale, look forwards between the hands. Exhale to walk feet to hands or hands to feet, don't mind which. So you're finding yourself in your forward fold. Long over the legs, an extra breath here for a wiggle. A shimmy, a pedal, maybe you're grabbing hold of opposite elbows. When you feel ready, hands are going to come to find the floor. Draw up that power, slide it onto the front of the body. Feel it root down through the feet, and it's coming up. Shins, knees, thighs engage, you roll through the spine, feel the glutes switch on, the sides of the hips, the sides of the waist, the belly, the chest, up and overhead. And then as you exhale, the hands come down any way you like. However suits you. Nice. Cool. Exactly the same. One more time. Exactly the same if I can remember where we've been. Apologies already for any inconsistency. Find yourself steady. Big inhale, takes the arms overhead. Exhale, you'll fold in, long over the legs. Take your time, soften the knees if you need to. Find that contact with the body. Hands on the feet, shins, thighs. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold, long over the legs. Bend the knees so that the feet, so the hands can come to find the floor. This time you'll send the left leg back, the right leg to join it. You're going straight to your downward facing dog. Straight to your downward facing dog. Make sure it is the right position for you. It is a shape that suits you for downward facing dog. You might use that little trick of bringing the feet side by side. So you've got a nice steady footing for where we're about to go. Take an inhale, draw the left leg high. As you exhale, knee to nose, pull the belly in, push the floor away. Step the left leg up between the hands. So the left foot is coming up between the hands. Once you've got that positioned, release the right knee down to the mat. Release the right knee down to the mat, untuck the toes. Make sure that you are steady on your inhale. Find that, yes, that big sweep forwards, that lift of the chest, lengthen the front of the belly, thumbs draw towards the back of the room. Exhale for no, push the hands away, pull the belly in, tuck the chin. No, no, no. We're not even going to look. The hips are moving back in space, maybe stretching the right quad. Inhale, yes. So stick with your own breath. If I'm moving too slow or too quick for you, don't let me hurry you or hold you back. We'll go one more. Yes, yes, yes. Open through the front of the body. Exhale, no, no, no. Push the hands out in front. Inhale, hands to neutral. Exhale, hands to the floor on the inside of your left foot. Hands coming down on the inside of your left foot. And you might need to make a bit of space. So the left foot might creep its way over to the side of your mat. It might be on a slight angle. So it might be a 45-degree angle there, just to give you a bit of room to move. And I'm really interested here, if you're up on props, up on blocks, that might be handy if you need that extra support. But I'm really interested in seeing if we can find a bit of a ripple in this. So I find I have to start on my fingertips, but eventually can come down to the flats of my hands. On your inhale, you're drawing the chest through. Brighten the collarbones, lift the gaze. So that yes, coming forwards, leaning into it. The exhale, you're pulling away, rounding, tucking the chin. We'll stick with that. 2 more breaths. Inhale to ripple forwards. Snake your way through. Exhale to draw away, push back. Inhale, last time, coming forwards and through, maybe coming onto the flats of the hands if you've got the space. Exhale to press back, tuck the chin. You totally refuse, pull away. Inhale through neutral. And then from there, you might, if you're interested, come onto the blade edge of the left little toe. Draw the left hand onto the left knee, pushing that knee away, opens through the chest. If you're interested, you might take a little bit of that. All of that might make sense for you. You might be looking for kind of more sensation here. You can do whatever suits you at the head. And then we'll let that go, releasing the left hand back to find the floor. Tuck the back toes. Send the left foot back to join the right foot. And we'll make our way to downward facing dog from here. Adjust if you need to. Adjust, adjust, adjust. Settle it however it suits you. And then when you're ready, you're going to inhale and roll forwards to plank. Exhale as you settle into plank. Inhale here in plank. Exhale to hover the knees. Just a couple of inches away from the floor. Pull the belly in. Find that long back box plank. Inhale. Exhale, hips high. You're back in your downward facing dog. Chest melts towards the thighs. We'll pause here for a breath. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale for a sigh through the mouth. Inhale to look forwards. And when you're ready, you're walking feet to hands, hands to feet, whatever suits you. We'll meet back in our forward fold, hanging out over the legs. Bit of a shimmy or a wiggle here. You can let the head go. You can grab opposite elbows. And then when you're ready, soften the knees. We take this bit as slow as you like. So we're moving pretty quickly. we're moving quite strongly, you might be finding you're short of breath, that things are hard, that things are creating that kind of resistance in the body. But take this slowly. Do this at a speed that suits you. See if you can find something that is enjoyable here as you slide the hands up onto the body. Notice that contact, that warmth of the hands against the body. Roll through the back as the hands travel up the legs. Feel that power underneath the hands. How strong you are. The arms eventually are releasing up and overhead. You'll draw the hands down any way you like. Doesn't matter if you're still going, take your time. Cool. Once you've found yourself there, I think we've got, I'm just going to check the time, but I think we've got time for one more thing. Yeah, we do. Okay, cool. That is excellent. So find yourself somewhere near the top of the space that you're working in. Something a bit, so building on where we've just been, with a slightly slinkier, more fluid, less instructions, little snippet. My favourite. Feet solidly planted. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale to fold. Maybe you're starting to find that hinge at the hips. You can still soften the knees as much as you need to. Hands slide up the legs to find halfway lift. Exhale to float the body down. Hands to find the floor. Hands find the floor. You're stepping back right leg, then left leg to join it. You're finding your downward facing dog with the hips high. Downward facing dog with the hips high, maybe a bit of a wiggle, a bit of a shimmy, a bit of a shake. Once you've got yourself settled, maybe you're going to use that trick of bringing the feet together. You don't have to if you don't feel like you need that. If that's useful to you, feet come side by side and you'll inhale the right leg up and back. We'll pause here. So just feeling our way into that right hip, getting a bit of an idea of how the right leg feels. If you need to put it down at any point, you can. But we're going to try here, see how it feels to bend the right knee, bring the heel towards the bum, and imagine you are lifting the right knee as if you were a dog with a lamppost. So you're lifting the right knee up and out to the side, dropping the right heel over towards the left bum cheek, trying your best to keep the shoulders square. Inhale here. Exhale here, playing around with it. You don't have to stay here. You can let it ease off if you need to. Inhale to lengthen the right leg, up and back. Exhale to roll forwards and see if you can step your right hand this time to, step your right foot this time to replace your right hand. I'm going to do that again in case that didn't make any sense at all. I'm going to spin it around just so you can sort of see if it didn't make sense. This is what we're after. Right leg lengthens up and back. You're rolling off the left toes, and you're going to see if you can step your right foot to replace your right hand. Your right hand will still exist, so it just needs to come away from the floor. And what you'll end up with is a sort of tripod base. Right foot, left hand, left foot, back behind you. Right hand is going to be pretty free and easy. You can do whatever he wants here. I find that it's actually useful at the beginning to just pop my right fingertips down. So maybe on the floor, maybe on the foot, maybe on the knee, wherever you are. From here, slightly strange movement to talk and do. I'm not even sure if I can speak and do this, but you're going to draw forwards, that same sensation of yes, roll off the left toes, lift through the center of the chest, lift the gaze, look forwards, drop the hips. Exhale, you're going to hover the knee, comes an inch away from the floor as you rock back. And I want you to imagine that you're drawing a circle with the hips in space. I'm trying to keep my right hand out of the way. So the hips are circling through in space, almost like the legs become those. I've started a sentence and realised I don't know the word. Are they pistons on the side of train wheels? That's what the legs are sort of going to become here. So the hips are circling, it's fiery in the legs. Definitely right hamstring, left quad, left ankle and toes. Push off the feet here if you can. Working as much or as little with this as makes sense for you. We're going to go for about 2 more breaths. So maybe about 2 more rotations through the hips. And the legs are probably screaming, that's okay. Draw yourself back forwards, last time, come forwards. And then release left knee down to the floor. Left knee comes down to the floor. We're going to send the hips back. Do exactly what you think you want to do, which is this probably. Send the hips back. Adjust the right foot if you need to. It might need to go further out in front so you can lift the right toes away from the floor. Right toes are pulling up towards your face. And we'll stick with that breath. The inhale for yes, coming forwards. The exhale, folding in over the leg. You might keep that going. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to fold. You can stick with the fold if you like to be still, or you might use one more breath. And then when you're ready, we'll rock body weight back forwards onto the right foot. We're going to bring the right hand onto the inside of the right foot and take the right toes out to the side as much as you need to. Make a bit of room for the body. Turn the right toes out slightly. Left hand is going to stay grounded as you bring the right hand onto the right knee. And it's your choice here as to how much you're playing with this. This is a static hold. You can come up onto the blade edge, little toe side of the foot, and really sink the hips using the right hand to encourage the right knee out to the side. You might, if you've got lots of space here, think about reaching right hand forwards, up and over. Maybe you're interested in catching the left toes behind you if you've got the room for that. If that doesn't make sense, don't do it. If it suits you, fab. If not, you're here, opening the chest. Breath steady. If you're not breathing, that is a sign that you might have pushed too far. Take a last breath here. And then you're rolling when you're ready. Body weight comes back into the right foot. Right hand will find the floor. Tuck the back toes. Send the right foot back to join the left. You're in your downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And from here, you are welcome to move through your regular vinyasa. So vinyasa, if you're not sure, is plank, down to cobra, and back up to downward facing dog. If you are interested in a little bit of an extra challenge, maybe you'll see how that vinyasa feels with your right leg lifted. You don't have to, but you could if you're interested in it. If you're interested in it, you'll inhale the right leg high. You'll roll forwards to plank, hip plank, keep the right leg lifted. You'll dip the chest to the floor and slide it through. That's when the right leg lowers as you bring yourself into up dog or your version of cobra. If none of this makes sense, stick with what you know, that regular vinyasa that suits you. Tuck the toes, send the hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Steady the breath. If you need to release the knees to the floor, you are welcome to. When you're ready, it's an inhale to look forwards between the hands and an exhale to walk the feet to the hands to the feet. Let the body hang out over the legs. Slow this right down. Allow yourself to really enjoy the sensation of the hands coming onto the body, coming onto the tops of the feet, sliding up the ankles, shins, up and over the strong tops of the legs, past the hips, lengthening the belly, and then eventually releasing up and overhead. Exhale, the hands will come down any way you like. Notice how close that quiet, that peace in the body is every single time. You're only ever sort of a couple of breaths away from it, even when you're sort of sweating and thinking, I don't know how she just grabbed her left foot. I don't know how she did that. I'll never do that. That peace is just there. It's there in the next breath. It's always there if you can come back to it. So we'll go one more time. We're going to make our way through that again. I know this is potentially a bit of a challenge. If it is a bit of a challenge, do what makes sense for you. Do the bits that you like. Do the bits that fit in with the practice that you're working in. So find yourself steady. Top of the mat. Feet firmly planted. This is your last roll through. Your last opportunity to find that power, that real strength that we're working with today. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold the body in, long over the legs. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Inhale your halfway lift. Imagine you're inflating the body. Exhale, you're deflating. Hands, palms find the floor. Send the left foot back, then the right. This time downward facing dog. So hips go high, straight away. You might have that wiggle, that pedal or that shimmy if you need it to adjust and make sure that you're in the right position. If you're using that guide of the feet together, you're welcome to adjust. And you'll inhale the left leg up and back. So we're going to play around here with that, where that leg is in space. So proprioception, knowing where our body is in space, is really useful when we try and do things like swap our hand and our foot over. So we'll bend the left knee, left heel drops towards the left bum cheek, and then imagine, it's not the most graceful imagery, but it's that kind of dog in a lamppost, the knee is lifting. You're doing your best to keep the shoulders square. The left heel is dropping towards the right bum cheek. Take an inhale here. Use the exhale to maybe fiddle around with it. Inhale, the leg lengthens. Exhale, you're stepping in. Left foot is going to take the place of your left hand. Roughly, doesn't have to be perfect. If you need to bring your right hand and put it up on a block or a brick or a book, please, please do. And then we're back into that movement, which is sort of torturous, and then also at the same time sort of interesting. Do it as much as you want to. Drop the knee when you need to, take a break, come back and join us. I'm going to see if I can keep it going. I find it easiest to start with the inhale. You draw forwards. Exhale, the hips are coming up, back, round and down. So imagine you're trying to draw a circle in the air with the hips from the side, as if the legs have become the strong pistons on the side of a train. You are pushing off the feet. So if you can, use the right toes to push you forwards and then to cushion you as you're coming back. The right knee brushes along the floor. You're keeping that right knee bending if you can. If you want to change direction, you're welcome to. Maybe rolling the hips the other way is interesting. Trying to do this, keep my left arm out of the way so you can see, is very challenging. So your left hand could be on the floor, it could be on the knee, it could be on the foot. I'm trying to keep mine away. We'll go for maybe one more roll through here, just in time for the legs to really start telling you those stories about how they can't do it anymore and they want to stop, but they're going to do one more roll. And then this time you'll release the right knee down to the mat. When the right knee finds the mat, you are taking, I might be wrong here, no, you are taking the left foot over to the side. No, you're not. Yeah, I am wrong. You're sending the hips back. You're sending the hips back for that long hamstring stretch. You might untuck the right toes. You might need to adjust the left heel a little bit further away so the left toes really can pull back towards your face. And then we're sticking with that ripple in the breath. The inhale for length, front of the body. The exhale to soften and round. One more. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to soften and round. Maybe you want to pause here if you like the stillness, otherwise you might stick with that ripple. And when you're ready, we'll roll body weight back into the left foot. This time we're bringing the left hand onto the inside of the left foot, taking the left foot out to the side. Left foot goes out as much as you need to get some space for you to move in. It can be quite far away. I don't think it looks like mine is on the camera, but it is quite far away. Your left toes might turn slightly out to the side. Left hand is coming onto the left knee. And as you breathe steady here, you're letting the hips drop down into that space as you encourage the left knee away. If you like this sensation, if this is a good place for you to be hanging out, you might reach left arm forwards, up and over. Maybe it's catching hold of your right foot. If you've got hold of the right foot, you can give the right foot a little kick into the left hand. Breathing wherever you are in this shape. If you're not breathing, you've gone too far, you might be interested in coming back. When you're ready, if you've got the toes, you'll release them gently to the floor. Your left hand is coming to find the mat, and you're going to step the left foot back to join the right foot. We're going to downward facing dog. And you've got one more opportunity for your vinyasa. So if you're not sure what I mean by a vinyasa, I will just show you what a regular vinyasa could look like. So you are welcome to move through this version with both feet firmly planted, if that suits you. You might recognise that, something that we do regularly. If you want to play around with the leg lifted, it's the left leg floating high on your inhale breath. Whether you've got the leg lifted or not, we'll draw ourselves forward to plank. You'll lower the body. Maybe you're keeping the leg lifted, and as you snake the body through, that's the moment that you're releasing the foot down. From there, hips go up and back. You're finding your downward facing dog. The hips are high. This is your last downward facing dog. Take what you need. Have a wiggle, have a pedal. Maybe it's deep bends in the knees. Maybe it's just stillness. You'll inhale when you're ready. Look forwards between your hands and walk feet to hands or hands to feet, your choice. Slow everything down. Bend the knees as much as you need to get the hands on the floor. When you're ready, you'll start that roll up with the hands guiding up the body. Notice the contact, the warmth, maybe the heat of the body, maybe the shake of those muscles that have worked hard. Doesn't matter if it takes you more than one breath, but eventually the arms are coming up and overhead. And as you exhale, see if you can draw the hands onto the body. Any position that you like, maybe it's 2 hands on the chest, 1 hand on the belly, 1 hand on the chest. Close the eyes. Allow the body to become still. Notice that familiar rhythm of the breath. Maybe it's quicker now than it was at the start. When you're ready, in your own time, gently blink the eyes open. And from here, we're making our way down towards the floor. I'm just going to double check the time. I forgot to put my watch on. That was silly, wasn't it? Okay, yeah, we're good. So we're making our way gently down to the floor, but we're going to come down, if you're interested in it, through a squat pose, if you've not already gone there. But if you've gone there, it doesn't matter. So find yourself, if you're coming through a squat, and you're interested in playing around with that, toes are going to turn out slightly, feet are a little bit wider than hip width distance, maybe. You can have hands on the hips, or you can have hands at heart center, and you're just going to sink yourself into a shallow goddess pose. Probably your legs not going to want to hang around here for that long after all of that. Hands come to the knees, and eventually hands will walk you down onto the floor. Hands are on the floor here. If you need to come up so the feet are heels off the floor, you're welcome to. Chances are you'll just need to step the feet a little bit closer together. And you might, if you're interested, you can absolutely just go to sitting if a squat doesn't make sense for you at this moment. But if you're interested in a squat, it might feel nice to walk the hands away from the body, tuck the chin and round the back. So the opposite to normally in a squat was sort of very upright, very sort of forcing our way against the knees. But see if you can just let the knees cave in, chin tucks, upper back rounds. Breath steady here. And then when you're ready, walk the hands around beside the body. Allow them to act as the brakes so that you can support your bum gently down onto the floor. Nice. Support your bum gently down, and we'll work our way down onto our back. We've got a little bit of movement before we drop into total stillness, but we'll keep that movement pretty soft. If you want to grab a jumper or a blanket for your shavasana, you're welcome to, and then we'll drop into stillness from here. So bringing yourself down onto your back. Once you get down there, the soles of the feet are on the floor, the knees are pointing gently up towards the ceiling. I'm just going to find a bit of a stretch for the arms, and then we'll come to the legs. So when you're ready, it's an inhale to take the arms up and overhead. When I said arms, I mean shoulders. So the fingertips are reaching up towards the ceiling. And as the fingertips reach up towards the ceiling and the shoulders draw off the mat, the space between the shoulder blades spreads out onto the floor. Once you've got that sensation, you're going to cross the right arm over the left and give yourself a big hug. And as you give yourself a big hug, you might notice that stretch in the back of the shoulder blades. Maybe the arms are falling up more towards your face as you look for that sensation in the back of the arm, the tricep, the armpit. So you're resting dove, but with a little bit of added activity. Usually resting dove, we're very soft, we let this just hang out. But see if you can almost imagine elbows drawing back up and over your face, finding that stretch in the back of the arm. Last inhale breath here. Exhale, you're going to let the stretch switch off, let the arms go soft. The next inhale draws the arms back up, fingertips stretching towards the ceiling. Let the shoulders lift. Let the shoulders lift away from the floor as you spread out the space between the shoulder blades, and then we'll go left arm over right. Left arm crossing over the right, give yourself a bit of a hug. Maybe the elbows are able to move up towards the face a little bit. It might not be huge and you don't have to force it, but just a little bit of a nudge in that direction might find you an interesting stretch in the armpit and the back of probably your left arm. And then when you're ready, inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, the hands can float down by your side. They might come out slightly wide, so a wide kind of A-line shape down on the floor. We're going to come into a spinal twist here, but we're going to add on a little bit of interest for the legs, those strong thighs that worked really hard. So when you're ready, you're going to cross your right leg over your left. Right leg crosses over left. If you've got loads of room, you might wind up again at the toes and the calf muscle. But you don't have to. Right leg crossing over left might be enough. Once you've got that, you're going to draw both knees over towards your left. So knees are going left. You might need to adjust the position of the arms. I'm stuck with the wall. If you're in a small space like I am, a cactus arm folding up at the elbow might work really nicely here, and you're welcome to look in the opposite direction to the knees, or maybe the same direction as the knees, if you want to keep things nice and soft on the neck, or maybe you're looking straight up at the ceiling. Left hand could come to rest on that right knee. Notice the breath rippling through the spine. Notice sensations in the right leg. But allow these to be soft. You've done all the hard work. One more breath here. And then when you're ready, you're going to untangle first. You're going to untangle the legs and then bring them back through to center. And when you get back through to center, it's exactly the same. We're going to cross the left knee over the right. Left knee crosses over the right. I was just about to do it without telling you. You might here, I'm just doing it on autopilot, you might shift the hips slightly over towards your left as you roll the knees over towards the right, just to give you a bit more space to move into. You can look away from the knees. You can look in the same direction as the knees. The right hand could come to rest on the left knee. Doesn't have to. All of those are options. All of those are options, suggestions, ideas. Take what you want, ditch the rest. Notice the breath rippling, coiling up the body. And when you feel ready, after this next breath, you'll untangle the legs. So you'll bring left leg back first, right leg will follow. And you might want to give yourself a bit of a squeeze, give yourself a bit of a hug. Maybe there are other movements that you feel like you want. If you want other movements, please do take them. And when you feel ready, you'll release yourself down into your savasana. Allow yourself to find softness here. So to really sink into a comfortable position in your Shavasana. Maybe the legs stretch out long. Maybe you want a different shape. Maybe the soles of the feet are on the floor, the knees are bent. Whatever works for you. Allow your body to really sink. Maybe the hands are in contact with the body. Maybe they're by the sides. Allow yourself to become really soft. Feel the body become heavy. Imagine the body sinking into the mat and the mat rising up to meet the body. Feel the body soften and quiet down. And see if you can invite the mind to join it. This softness, this ease is your reward for all that hard work, for all that effort. But it's also your opportunity to come back to the body, to check back in. And perhaps, as we did at the beginning, we might be able to return here at the end to the breath. Remembering those sensations of breathing while we were standing, noticing that ripple, that rock and roll in the body, and seeing if you can find similarities here. Noticing the way that even though you are still, there is movement in the body. There is that familiar rhythm. That reassuring, steady beat. And in your own time, see if you can draw your attention to that breath. Allow it to flood the body with new, fresh energy. And then when you feel ready, there might be enough energy there to power a wiggle of the fingers, a point and flex and stretch of the toes. Maybe you're going to roll the ankles and the wrists. Maybe you like the sensation of turning the head from one side to the other. And in your own time, there might be enough power for that big stretch. Reaching the fingertips up and overhead, drawing the body out long, like a yawn for the whole body. You might want to draw the knees up into the chest and give yourself a bit of a hug. And then from there, you'll roll gently onto your favourite side and just pause. Before you push yourself up to a comfortable seat, bringing yourself up to sit comfortably. Maybe the eyes are closed Maybe the gaze is still cast down towards the floor. Maybe the face is just soft. Soak up your practice in these last few moments. And then you can seal all of that hard work, all of that effort, however you like. Maybe you want to bring hands to heart center. Maybe you're bowing the head to the wisdom of the heart, or taking any other gesture of gratitude that feels right for you. Thank you so much for practicing with me, guys, and I'm sure I'll see you all again really soon.